Welcome. My name is Danny Ross, and I'll be your host today for the AI Lunch and Learn session. We're picking up in a progressive lesson on building AI sales systems, and we're going to get into some more comprehensive prompts and things this week, and we'll continue to build out these systems. I'm actually planning to have a session coming up on building AI clones. I've had people ask me about that, so we're going to do a couple of sessions on that. It's going to be a progressive type of thing on that as well. The whole AI clone process is interesting and useful for business owners. You want to build up some automation to deal with the leads, but then you also need a lead magnet system, and that's what AI clones are very useful for. You can have the AI emulate you or somebody else. It doesn't have to be a real person, and put them out there in various formats. The simplest is videos, or it can even be interactive website chat that you can have it interact with your visitors. There's lots of different ways to implement AI clones, and that way you can have them working 24 hours a day, which is, of course, the whole purpose of these AI automations that we're building. I'll keep going. If anybody has any questions, I'm going to post the links again in the chat just so you have them. And these are the most common links that we share every week. And let's go ahead and jump right in it. We kind of built out the AI foundation, conversation, customer acquisition, conversion optimization, and now we're going to continue in on the AI sales systems. And I'm going to give you different versions of the prompts so that you have both the simple version, and then we'll create some more sophisticated versions of those said prompts. I'll share the deck with you so you don't have to worry about creating copious notes, and so I'll get those out to you. Again, we've talked about this a little bit before. The problem isn't effort. You guys work hard building out your businesses. So the goals are always going to be, how do we automate these things so that as soon as somebody contacts you, they get a response. And therefore, it shows a level of activity that makes people feel comfortable when they first visit your website. Some of you know I've been building out, doing a refresh of the main website. You'll kind of see some of those things start to build on that. And so we're going to continue to build on that. I also show examples of customer websites that I'm building and the automations that we're building into those as well. It's really fun to see all of you out there as we continue on. Again, if you have questions, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. Also, if this is your very first time, please go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat, and we'll keep it going that way as well. CRM gets stale. Now, some of you may not have a customer relationship management system, which is what a CRM is. And so there's lots of different flavors of those. The primary purpose of those is to assist through AI automation, being able to functionality, keep good track of all of your leads, have a funnel system built in so that you have automation that checks a box every time this happens, you do this, the system does this, 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 and that. And then you as the owner don't have to manage or micromanage those individual steps. And then you have to have an automated proposal system as well. Whatever your business is, somebody's going to ask a question, and somewhere along the lines of a business, of course, transaction, you have to give them a quote, a proposal, have them be able to shop on your website and buy things and services. And so all of those things should be implemented using AI to assist and make them faster. If we talk about old school versus new school, traditional sales focus, the owner manually does each step. Salesperson, perhaps, if you are not the salesperson yourself, depending how large your organization is, reaches out, then you may have an automation system, setter, CRM management system, a proposal writer, and then, of course, some sort of tracking system of sales and things like that. The idea is to replace and or enhance each one of those steps with an AI. So that way we are consistently growing. We have the AI version, the owner sets the goals and the direction. The automated sales development representative takes it to the next step automatically. AI continues to follow up with that individual. And then you have a ability to create calendaring and actual meetings. Those are the things that we want to be able to do. And then you have a proposal writer and a revenue generator. So you can do all of these things individually, and or you can create AI apps to do those things for you with the minimum amount of inputs. If we look at, tools, and again, you can replace ChatGPT with any large language model, whether it's Claude, whether it's Perplexity, whoever your favorite tool is, you can replace it. Then you need some form of automation around that lead functionality. We do offer leadbiz.ai, which is one tool that we suggest, but you can use any tool. You can use Go High Level, you can use HubSpot. All of them offer that automation flow that we're talking about. And then, of course, the ability to track the revenue and analyze the results that you're getting is important. If we start talking about this salesperson, the sales development person, this lead person, the idea is you want them, the main thing is to be able to respond to a lead within 5 minutes and basically qualify it for fit and then route it onto booking AI automation. And the way that you do that, we talked about last week, is you have to create a knowledge base where you train up your AI systems, and so it can understand what it needs to do step by step by step. And then you can use a qualification scoring system to move things along. The idea is if it's a hot lead, you do this. If it's a warm lead or just an inquiry, you do that, and so on and so forth. As you build your systems in, you have to have inbound standard operating procedures and escalations. What happens, and the idea is we want to take that inbound and respond at least by text message, but certainly email to be a little bit more formal. Depending on the age of your target prospect, they're going to respond in either one of those two channels, but you should use both. The challenge is with SMS, you have to be very careful that you're not spamming them, meaning that they have given permission for you to send them a text message. Email has that same requirement, of course, but it's a little less stringent. You don't want to ever be sending out text messages without explicit opt-in agreement from the end user. And you can manage that on your website by having checkboxes. It's okay to email me, it's okay to text me, and so on and so forth. That's where you can kind of control some of that. You can ask qualification questions so that you can get the most qualified leads into your CRM system. You can then score them however you want to score them, and then get those hot leads directly to an automated booking system. So if your website is functioning properly, somebody puts in an inquiry or they download your lead magnet or respond in some way, and then the automation immediately sends back a response to welcome them and make sure they know you're aware of them. And then you can decide based on the cost of whatever your services or products are, how you want to handle that. That's where standard operating procedures come in and how you route what comes in. So for example, if they've just downloaded a lead magnet PDF or a video, you respond one way, or if they've asked for a meeting, you respond a different way. And or if directly on your website, they can sign up for services and products, you can determine the value and how much attention needs to immediately happen. So of course, the more expensive or the more money that you're asking from them, the faster and the more complex you want your response to be. If they're just downloading a PDF, really entering the sales funnel, you do not want to overwhelm them because that just seems weird. And then the value of that interaction, it requires that kind of a calmer response. So again, you can trigger certain types of responses based on what the actual action is. And then same thing with your outbound standard operating procedure. First touch should always just be a personalized welcome, thank you with their name, things like that. And then follow up over the next couple of days, because then that is the way to build that rapport, to build that value, and therefore you're going to get a much better or higher conversion rate. It's also important to have on every contact that you send out some form of unsubscribe and or a way to tag. And this is where a CRM system comes in, is that you can have automations based on how many times you've reached out and then be able to tag them. And tagging in the CRM world just means you have a keyword that you utilize to categorize your prospects. And so it could be something as simple as contact in, 10 days, contact in 30 days. It could be something as simple as a hot lead. And once you've qualified them as a hot lead, then the automation can do certain things over time. Warm lead, cold lead, and or completely remove them from, you have to have a system that completely removes them from outbound messaging, because if they request an unsubscribe, this is where the power of the CRM system comes in handy, where you can now categorize them and say, okay, don't contact those people. I'm even more brutal on my marketing, because my philosophy, if somebody specifically says, don't bother me, I simply delete them from my CRM system. Why do I go to that extreme? Because the penalties for contacting people who have specifically said, don't contact me, just not worth it. So if I have 7,000 prospects or names in my CRM system, 5 people say, don't contact me, then I want to be able to remove them. So that's the concept there. Okay. All right. So now we're moving on to the AI lead nurturing and building trust. Let me go back a step here. On the SDR, we can tell it basically the AI, we want to give it the escalation rules. We want to make sure it understands what to do on each one of these sequences. Let me bring over a couple of prompts here. Let's take a look. Just give me a second here. We can examine some of the types of prompts that you want to use. If I give you this prompt here, and I'm going to make sure these are included in our follow-up. Give me one second. I'll bring it over so you can see it. I'm going to drop them into a simple document here for you guys. Give me one second. Week 4. I'm just going to drop them in here. Let's see what we got. And I'm going to make this into a nice PDF for you guys. I was in the process of updating it and it broke. So I'm going to do it that way. You can have this prompt and you can tell it what the mission is. And then you can give it, you are the first impression of business. You want to tell it exactly what its purpose in life is. And so then you're going to give it the business information. You're going to give it all of this important information. Now, if you've built all of this into your website, of course, you don't have to do this manually. But if you're just getting started with the AI and you're training it up, we worked on training it to make sure it understood, how and when we wanted to, all of the information about our business. So let me give it a new lease on life here. Just one second. And we'll drop this into one of our previously running chats. So we're not creating it from scratch. A week ago or 2 weeks ago, I showed you how to make a project. So if you want to go back and look at that video, you can kind of see the steps revolving around that. Let's see here. Just a second. Sorry for the delay here. Yeah, we can do it for one of our others. This one, we'll do it for this one. This is one of our customer businesses that we've been working on and telling it how to do things. We're actually getting ready. I like to use real world examples. We are getting ready to start using all of this fun stuff here. This thread is pretty comprehensive. It has lots of information about the business. I don't need to paste it in. The reason why I left this part of the prompt in is that I wanted you to have the original prompt. I'm going to put that into a separate document because it's too large for the chat. I wanted it to be able to run on any system, so I didn't make it specifically for ChatGPT. And there we go. If I tell it to run what it'll give me in this thread, it should be able to still give me something information. Yeah. All right, cool. Now, This is the prompt that it is actually, this is where one of the other pro tips I wanted to show you is as you are building with any of these tools is if you ever have a question about what it needs to be productive, you can ask it. And so what it did was it took the original prompt that I created and it improved it based on the things that are important to this particular business. In other words, a residential vacation rental search. I should back up for those who don't know. Clean Wizard is a cleaning company. We built a website for them and we're getting ready to start the marketing part of their business. This is their website, and so they have the ability to not only tell you about their business, you can have a standard contact form, but we also built two other processes for them. You can go directly to their app and book yourself a cleaning. We built this app, AI-based app for them that you can install on your phone or on your business. You can book a thing. What I'm showing you all of this is you can build these systems so that they flow from one thing to the next. In this case, the website is up and ready to go. Now we're going to start the marketing effort associated with that website. And we're using different AI-based tools, including this AI-based app that we created. And then there's a secondary way to book on there. For example, if you're a commercial business or different customers are going to go in different directions. If you're a vacation rental customer, you're going to go directly to another website we built for them where they can book those weekly cleanings and things that they need. It's going to be different than the residential. The residential goes down one sales funnel into one path, the commercial goes down another, and the vacation rental people go down another. There's three primary customers, which is what the AI was just talking about. I just want to show you how all the systems kind of come together, okay? Now, this particular website is not particularly AI, but the booking app that we built out here is completely AI built, and it's a really powerful app that is custom to that particular business. This is what I meant by you can build these AI systems and put them on top of each other. We have the primary website that leads to the booking systems that are custom tailored to the target audience. Hopefully that all made some sense. And again, if you guys have questions, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. All right, so back to our wonderful updated prompt. We have this version. It's tailored specifically for blah, 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 blah. If I tell it, I want to build this towards, let's just see if it takes a simple command. If I tell it I want to build this into a website, and I just want it to be, a couple of different simple functionalities. And so it's giving me here the Clean Wizard Home Concierge. And so it's kind of building out some interesting paths for me here. So there's one, I like that. All right, so you can basically take that and build that into the website. Now, last week, I think it was, that I showed you the BuildBiz.ai system. There we go. You can actually use these. There's 60 plus apps in the BuildBiz system. You can use one of them, which is the actual chatbot builder, create a chatbot. And you can build this that you can place it on the website. So there's two steps to this. The first is to go ahead and let's see, who am I logged in as? Make sure I'm logged in as the right people here. Hold on. I have a lot of profiles. There we go. I love how it kept the AI, and so I didn't have to rebuild that part of it. And so if I go here, first thing we want to do is create that knowledge base. So that was one of the things that we talked about. So I'm going to create a new knowledge base for Clean Wizard. Okay, and this is in buildbiz.ai, which is one of the links that I shared earlier. So now I've got a new knowledge base, and so I want to load that up. So I can drop in URLs. So the obvious URLs that we want to train it on is our primary one. I can go here, grab this as a URL, and what'll happen every time I add a URL, the system will scan that first page. And what's great about that first page is it essentially has, when you're building your website, this is how AI learns your business, but this is also how ChatGPT finds you using what we call AEO or AI engine optimization. It learns about your business from looking at the metadata and these FAQs that are on your website. So now the AI is learning all of these things about my business. Let's create a knowledge base document for Clean Wizard I can use to train a BuildBiz dot AI. Little bit. Oh, I gotta learn how to spell knowledge base. There we go. And so I'll run that in parallel. So I'm doing two things at once. It is now building out this knowledge base for me, and it's going to create this document that I can then feed into it. In addition to that step, I'm also giving it the ability, I want it to scan those websites and learn those websites. So that's what it's doing. And then, so you can see here on the left, even though it's a little faded, there's files that I can upload, there's URLs that I can give it so it can learn, and then there's manual documents that I can upload as well. I'm doing all of the above, if you will. It's got that first one there. And so it's learned about the actual website itself that's going to live on. We're actually going to post it on that website. And so let's see, we have this document. Oh, here's it is right here. I can download this puppy. And it can be a PDF, it can be a Word doc, it doesn't really matter. And so I should be able to grab that. It's thinking about it. It's pretty comprehensive, pretty simple as well. All right, now we have that document. We'll go back to the knowledge base and say, hey, I've got a file I want to add and upload that knowledge base document. And so now it has that knowledge base document. It has the ability, for the most part, in my opinion, to be able to answer most questions that we're going to come up with. So now that we have that, you should put more data. So I'm not going to, only because I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time just doing this step by step. But so what I would do next is I would go to the residential page, which has all kinds of good content, which should, by the way, should be in that document. And I would tell it, hey, add this URL as well. And I would do that for each one of those pages that are critical, not the unimportant ones. Because again, there's residential content on that page because it's a well-designed page and it has FAQs at the bottom that the AI can learn. So again, we're building and training this chatbot knowledge base on all of those different things. And so you can actually just copy paste the whole thing into a Word doc and throw it in there. There's different ways you can do it, but have it and go through and gather the information is a good way to train the bot. Okay, so now what we're kind of go towards is building out a AI chatbot that's going to live on the website. That's where we're going, okay? And so now that we have that first step done and we're building out that second URL, we really don't need to, but I do want to be redundant. Giving it lots of good information never hurts. So let's go back now. We're moving through and we're telling it, hey, I've got that. And so now give me, and so let's go back to what we need here. So I've got the knowledge base. We're building the knowledge base step by step by step. I'm going to do one more URL only because this one is very important to the type of business that Clean Wizard is. It's actually their favorite type of prospective user. So that's why I'm going to make sure I include that in the knowledge base URL system. You notice that the second one took a lot less time, again, because some of the data is similar and it's already got that, and then it's learning all three. So the vacation rental space is very important to this particular customer. So I just want to make sure the knowledge base has all the answers somebody might ask at its fingertips. Okay. So now that I've got that in there, we're going to go back here and we can open up another window while it is thinking about that first step. And now I can go to the actual chatbot builder and create that chatbot, and we're going to point it to that knowledge base. So now I'm here I can go in and we are going to create a new chatbot. Let's see, do I have the ability? Give me 1 second. I want to make sure. And yes, this is tracking it. Okay, hold on. Create a chat. But what am I missing? Sorry, I went one step too far. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. All right, our buddy Clean Wizard, and we're going to give it some basic information. We're going to give it first, we have the code snippet, which is what we're going to grab, and then we're going to create that chatbot. And you can call it something else. You can call it CleanBot. Let's give it a marketing friendly name. And so it can say something like, hey, welcome, how can I help you? And then you can tell it you want to collect the information. Now, why are we going to make the chatbot, aside from just answering questions, a marketing engine? So you can use either collect the name and email only when they ask to connect to a human agent or after a specific number of messages. I prefer to collect right at the beginning. There's several reasons. One, it allows me from a marketing point of view, somebody's visiting the website, they have questions. I have questions specifically, who are they and what's their email address? So from a marketing point of view, you don't want to be shy, is what I'm saying. If they don't want to provide that, then their inquiry is not important to them, therefore to you and or both your time. So we don't want to waste their time. And of course, we want to capture that information as soon as possible. You can take a more subtle approach to gathering their email address and only capture it when they actually ask. So now we need a little icon for our clean wizard. So you can use any fave icon that you might have. Let's see, this one should work. Yeah, not perfect, but good enough for a chatbot. And so you can also pick the color of the chatbot. Of course, you want to have it match similar to whatever your colors are. That looks close enough. And so that's going to create some of the basic functionality for it. And then from there, you're going to want to create the actual AI settings for the chatbot. And this is where, remember, we had asked ChatGPT to give us that information as I'm creating a chatbot. So now we can go back here and grab that. It'll be above here. We kind of give it the knowledge base. And then here's the things are, find the right service in under a minute, all of these types of things. So give me 3 suggestions. And then when we go back now, we can go back to our prompt and tell it to give me all of this. This is the SDR. And so it learned all of these things, all right? And so never pressure customers, never overwhelm them, ask, questions one at a time. And so these are the primary goals and things that we built out into that chatbot, vacation rental questions, residential questions, commercial questions, that kind of thing. And so now give me what am I looking for? I want to give it the exact words that I'm doing here. Yeah. It knows about this particular chatbot process. So again, depending on where you're building the chatbot and how it's being built, you can give it different instructions. I can tell it, define how the AI should behave and respond. It's similar to what I've already done. I gave you a more generic one. Now I'm going to give a specific one. Mhm. Right? It knows what a BuildBiz chatbot needs, should look like. And so it's giving me that specific set of things that I want it to be able to do, which is similar to what I just asked. This is less generic, though. This is more specific, and it's learning exactly what I wanted it to do. All right. So then you can add more things like tone, creativity, response length, ask follow-up questions, all of those kind of fun things. So we're just going to grab that for now. That's good enough for this particular step. And so as I go back into the instruction set, I'm going to drop that in there. And then we're going to select the knowledge base that we just created in the BuildBiz. So this is like the cheapest, easiest way to create a chatbot on the planet. And so now it has the couple of things that we needed. And so it has the knowledge base, and we can make the knowledge. What's great is you don't have to redo any, you don't have to change anything, but you can continue to build a knowledge base. So, for example, if you test it and it didn't answer a particular question correctly, you can add that answer to the knowledge base. And so you're going to want to go back and forth a few times, update the knowledge base, make sure it's doing a good job of answering those questions. Okay. So now that we've got that done here, we've kind of collected the information, we've saved it. And so now we have our chat bot. Now we can grab this code snippet. And so you can copy it to the clipboard and you can drop this on any website and have a chat bot that is going to be able to answer questions and go back and forth. So this is a very simple chat bot, but you can see that it is going to be just effective enough. So this particular website is built in Wix Studio. It's one of my favorite building tools. We use lots of different platforms. I manage lots of different customers' websites, so I don't, it's so funny. I have to keep track of all of their stuff. But what I'm doing here, let's go in and actually edit the website. You can have someone do this for you if you don't know how to do it. You can build websites, lots of different platforms. I happen to like Wix Studio. It's kind of turned into a very powerful website builder. Don't forget, though, there is one built directly in the BuildBiz system. And that one is actually pretty decent, just a very rudimentary, simple website builder. This website here that you're looking at, buildbiz.ai, was actually built in BuildBiz. I believe in using the products and showing what can be done. So this is actually built in the BuildBiz platform. So you pay 20 bucks a month after your trial. You got a 7-day trial, and you can build websites. The videos that are made here are built in the product. All of the tools you get, the 11 free books. So it's a pretty comprehensive building platform as well. However, this particular customer had some needs that was outside of that builder. And so I built it in Wix Studio. So you can basically grab and drop this in almost anywhere. So it doesn't really matter where you drop the code for a chat bot, but let me do it in a more logical manner. So if I go to the bottom section here, below the PDF, FAQ section, perfect. I can just drop in a new, I'm just showing you how I can do it relatively quickly. Let's see, which one do I want to use? Well, let's just drop it in this code and let's leave it a day. And we can just drop it in there. Actually, do we have a designed frame for this? Let's see if I have one. Give me 1 second, folks. Title, text, container, section. This is stuff you guys absolutely do not have to worry about doing. I am just pointing it out. Actually, should I just drop it? Yeah, I could drop it in there because IDE. This is a new thing that they just released. We won't mess with that right now. Let's just keep it simple. And we'll drop in. It's so funny how many different ways you can do these things sometimes. Documentation, yes. I don't want to change anything drastic on here. Ah, cool. That is a nice and new way to do that. All right. All right. We'll just drop it in there. Code. Okay. It's going to be hidden anyway. All right. So we'll just leave it essential, add alt text. No, thank you. And that should be good enough. I'm going to leave it visual so you guys can kind of see where it sits. It doesn't need to actually be in an iframe. It was my main point because it doesn't need to be visual. You don't actually want it to be visual. When somebody, I'm just showing you, you don't actually want it to be visual in that sense. Yeah, it didn't launch. I didn't think it would because it's not supposed to live in an iframe. It's fine. I think you guys do get the point though. Let's do it a different way. I'll show you the same thing in the Let's copy that again. And I can go to our buddy here and show you in the other builder because I don't want to complicate things too much for today's listen. Yo. In the website, in the actual, let's see if I have one for Clean Wizard. I think we had done one a while back. I don't see it anymore. All right, so in this example, so let's say we go in here and we edit this page. All right, cool. This is fine. And if we go in here and we add a segment, we just drop it on below here, add a new row, one column. This is the builder, so you can kind of see it as well. And we'll just drop it in there and drop it in here. There we go. And so we have that. We are good. And so we have that code in there, regular HTML. And this is why I said you guys don't have to do this because this is not part of your day. And if I save that and we basically say, all right, we're good there, we can take a quick look at it. All right, cool. This is the website. Let's see if I can preview it outside. So got that here. And so we can take that coding and run it against some questions and so on. And so, you can grab this content. Oops, sorry, in a meeting. All right. And so now you can see as you grab all of these different website builders and knowledge bases, you can then convert them into a chatbot, which you can go to any website page and then have a conversation with it. That's basically what we're trying to do here. I like the idea of being able to just drop these in and then have that kind of a conversation with it. Much is cleaning a home. Let's see if it can even answer that question because I realized that I think I might have grabbed the wrong snippet. This is funny as heck. This is one of those things where I'm doing three things at once, and therefore you might have grabbed the wrong coding snippet. That's my fault, not paying attention. Oh, this is good. Okay. Chatbot. There we go. Let's go right back in. Yeah, that's what I thought. Clean Wizard, please. Code snippet. Copy the clipboard. And we go back in here. That's what I thought it would say. And we're going to go back in here and go back one page. There we go. And we're going to go in here, open the code snippet, and change out the code. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. This should give me the right one now. All right, cool. There we go. And open code snippet, top margin, good. Save, preview. Let's see if we get the right one in here now. Nope, still bringing in the BuildBiz one. It's definitely a user error. All right, we're way off track. You create the AI, you tell it who you are, and then you tell it what you want it to do. For in this case, I could say something like, let's see if it'll answer that question properly. This is the BuildBiz chatbot. Should be fun. So there you go. Creating an email lead involves this. In other words, this particular chat snippet, for I keep getting the wrong coding, is for BuildBiz, and therefore it can answer questions about creating email leads. So you have a sales development representative lives on your website using that code snippet. Yours wouldn't get created with confusion because I have multiple chatbots on my chatbot creator. And so it's just pulling the wrong snippet. Yours wouldn't have that problem because it's only going to be focused on your company. And therefore, it'll be able to answer questions about your standard operating procedures and functionality. And that would live on your website 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then from there, if the human says, I want to speak to a person, a human to be more precise, AI might be confused if it thinks it is also a human. And so it'll transfer it to a human representative. As soon as it does that, two things happen in the automation that I've already built is that number one, the human will get an email, meaning me, and the AI will also let the user know, as you saw there, that it's going to get a human for that person. And then in the actual AI space, if I come out of here and I go back one page and I go into it says a few seconds ago, your conversation was transferred. You can see the actual chat conversation that somebody's having with your chatbot and what it has said it's going to do. And then in my side of the fence, I would get an email, which was that ping you heard just a second ago. Let's see if I can find it here. There we go. And so you guys can see the email that I got just a second ago. So there you go. A user is requested to speak with blah, 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 blah. That's basically where it pops in. Okay. That's what you want. Instant response back to them, instant update to you. So now everything is flowing and everybody is happy. Okay. That is what we're building here when we talk about the AI automation. Hopefully that all made sense. And that was the first of our chatbots. If anybody have any questions while, we will pick this up right where we left off, and I'll continue to build out these multiple step SDRs. And so let me also give you guys that Word document that I created from that first prompt. And then I will also build out multiple prompts for you guys and give you all of them. Let me give you a save as. And we'll pop this up in our Digital Express. And I'll just start in the downloads for now. Prompt week 4. And then I will build these all out so you guys have them, by the way, so that you'll be able to use them. This is just the first prompt for week 1, okay? Let me drop that into the chat so you guys have it. And then I'll also give you this deck as well. You kind of have a preview, if you will, of where we're going to go over the next couple of weeks. We're going to build out this, and then we're going to build some AI clones. I'm going to build both of them at the same time, all of these AI agents. And again, you can build these agents into whatever AI system you like and into any of the, whichever ones you would like. Let me give you the link for this as well. Copy, share link. And we will drop that here. There we go. And of course, you have all my contact links already. So you guys can reach out to me, ask questions on things that you need help with, and we can go from there. That's the SDR or chatbot, however you want to think of it, that you can build directly into your website to help you capture the leads. And then where they get fed to, you can have more sophisticated lead tracking systems. Like, for instance, I mentioned the Wix Studio. What is nice about the Wix Studio is I also have some AI agents that are in here. We have marketing agents, personal assistant agents, front desk agents, and then you can build your own custom agents, which is what I would update and integrate into. It's not really just a chatbot. It's more complicated and more powerful. There's phone agents, and then you have the standard Wix Smart Chat. Those are all AI agents that are built into Wix Studio, and we can build you out a comprehensive series of systems. And the reason why I'm showing you this outside of Wix Studio is if you don't want to create a new one, you can build them in whatever you're using, whether it's, again, I mentioned Go High Level, whether it's HubSpot, whatever your CRM system is, you can still build all of these into your system. I'm trying to make it as generic as possible, teach you the concepts, and then you can integrate them to what you already have. But if you need a system that's more comprehensive, contact us and we'll help you build out those systems. All right. Any questions? Okay. All right, group. I think we did pretty well on time. And like I said, I will continue building out the other AI agents. So you have your lead nurturer, so building trust on autopilot. The concept is, you get the lead in, but you need to touch people 3, 5, 7 times before they actually engage with you and do business. So polite, subtle, but consistent contact is the key. You can be aggressive once you get to the end of that sequence, that email sequence or that text sequence, where you're like, well, they haven't responded so far. I have nothing to lose. I can be more aggressive, and then you can bow out. So if after the fifth contact, there's nothing happening, you can send one more email that says, hey, I see that you're busy. I won't bother you anymore, but certainly I do want to take time to reach out to you. And you can be, again, however you want to be on that last one. Be positive, of course, but just be a little more aggressive and say, okay, I'm not going to bother you for a little while, and then maybe set it out for 30 days and then 3 months, 6 months. Always keep them in there as a ongoing thing, but you do want to not be hyper aggressive at that point any longer. So you want to definitely step back. All right, I think you have the idea. And so this is what we're going to talk about next, which is the lead nurturers. And that's basically a 5 email sequence over time, 3 SMS and 1 appointment request. And we'll build this out in the leadbiz.ai system next week. All right, everyone, have a fantastic rest of your day. It's been a lot of fun. We'll keep building together. All right, bye-bye. Bye.